Means Chelsea win by 6 goals to nil. More problems for Everton at the bottom of the table. Meanwhile, at the top for Chelsea, they find themselves now just 3 points behind the likes of Manchester United and Newcastle. And Pochettino's side do have a game in hand as well. Let's welcome in, shall we? Mario Melchiot joins us, of course, former Chelsea defender. Mario, you're on, and we have something positive to say finally about Chelsea.
Hey! Hey, you see, I'm not celebrating on my own. You see, he's joining me, so that's a good thing. No, definitely. It was a game, like, we've been talking about it for a long time, and we're hoping for them to finish games off. So finally, I have seen it now. I was all the way at the stadium last week, and I saw it, and they couldn't finish it off, and now, finally, I see it from distance, and they finished the game off. It was a game, look, you already spoke about Palmer. I think Palmer was the one that took the lead and the way he dictated it. And Stevie jumped on a penalty. I thought it was so silly, that penalty situation. I was happy, what he said about Gallagher jumping in. Yeah, he had to jump in, clear the path for them. Because at the end of the day, I think before the game, in any team, the decision is already made. Palmer takes the penalty. So I don't understand what Madueke and Jackson are trying to do. I know you guys want to score, but then you got to wait for your opportunities.
Should we do the penalty now? May as well do the penalty now then. Mario has led us down that path inevitably. Mauricio Pochettino was asked about it after the game. This is what the Chelsea coach had to say. I thought we behaved like kids today. When this happens, we need to learn and learn quick. Perform like today, but behave much better. Next time they're all out, it's not a joke. It's impossible. After a performance like this, to have this behaviour, we have to learn a lot if we want to be a great team. Think more in a collective way than in an individual achievement.
There's no doubt with the statement he's made how unhappy he is with the players, the whole situation. Yeah. So I think he's...
But surely a manager of his experience should just gone, right, Cole Palmer, you're our penalty taker. Isn't that something you do as a manager?
Yeah, it does, aye. I'm just saying that the first time that happened earlier on in the season, you were talking about... He went a little bit of a softly approach. This is the perfect approach. I think he's really stamped his authority on this. You're acting like a bunch of kids.
But my point is, shouldn't he have addressed this before?
No, well, everybody has a penalty taker, right?
Well, clearly, it wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's clear.
No.
Well, then why are they fighting over the penalty?
Because they're a bunch of kids, as he's just told you. That's what kids do. They think because it's 4-0, the game's done.
We saw it,
let's do the nice thing.
We saw it in the Manchester United game. He obviously hasn't made it clear.
But I told you, he went softly with it.
No, but it's not about what he said.
No,
it's not what about he said afterwards.
When you play with a striker,
let me tell you.
Things like this happen. When you play with a striker like Jackson that wants to score, things like this happen there. Look. Sometimes when you play in a team, everything is being told before. Just like Stevie said, they tell you in advance. But strikers are the hardest people to play with sometimes. When they just want to count on scoring more goals. And that's why Jackson jumped up. But he's been told that he's not the first to strike the ball. But the thing is, when you stand on the pitch, hopefully the Palmer would say, oh, I got a hat-trick, you can take this one. No, the kid wants to add to his tally, so that's normal. So that's why the rest has to move.
Just think what I told you the first time, though. You can't... Not every single time something goes wrong do you get a big hammer and smash everybody over the head. That's not always the best way.
No, I completely understand what you're saying.
But to your point... Yeah. To your point, maybe that's what he should have done the first time. All I'm telling you is the first time round, he's went, OK, I'll do the softly approach. And there's no question, everybody knows who the penalty taker is, by the way. But because...
That's my point. That's what
because they're inexperienced and it's 4-0, Madueke thinks, well, I haven't got a goal. Jackson's got a goal. He's got 3. I'll get it.
Right.
That's not... The best teams, you don't see that because everybody knows it's about, as I said, you get the chance to bury somebody, you bury them.
The funniest part of all of it is that Jackson was having a back and forth with Madueke, right? But somehow Madueke had convinced Jackson that he was going to take it. And then when Conor Gallagher grabbed the ball and gave it to Cole Palmer and said, no, neither one of you are taking it, it's Cole Palmer, then Jackson comes out of nowhere and said, oh, no, I'm okay with Madueke taking it, but not the actual penalty taker. Look, honestly, this is a non-issue. This is a non-issue. Chelsea, finally, they look like a team that can do things going forward. They look like a team that can score goals. They had a thorough performance, a dominant performance. Moises Caicedo, out of his mind today. You have Nicholas Jackson was good. Cole Palmer was good. Madueke was active down the right-hand side. It was a complete performance from Chelsea where there was no stress, no drama, no sense of Everton ever being in this game. I refuse to make this about the penalty kick situation. I have to focus on the performance of Chelsea. And if you want to go negative on Everton. Don't go negative on the penalty.
No, this is it. No. This is a symptom. What happened with the penalty?
Oh.
It's all very well. They beat Everton 6-0, who were atrocious, but they still beat them 6-0. But it's a symptom of one of the problems with this team. And because they beat Everton 6-0, and because they've had one incredible game, they've got some results recently, but they haven't played like this. I think it's a little early to start thinking that they've turned around the corner. And the fact that the penalty carry-on happened tells you they're not ready yet to be a proper team.
How good is Cole Palmer, Mario? How good was that first goal?
Very, very good. I think, you know, what Cole Palmer is very good at is, like, sometimes you see young talents and they can see things in advance. Normally you become a little bit older, you understand, and then you do things. I had it, for example, like Wayne Rooney for me was a great example. That young and pick up the ball in areas where you don't expect it. Cole Palmer, he picks up the ball and his mindset is already 2 steps ahead. I think that makes you a better player. When you watch a player, you always got to know, what are you going to do when you get the ball? And I think some people always think it's about tricks or this or that. It's about playing simple and knowing exactly what you're going to do in your next step. And that's why I think he scored the goal. Especially that goal that he scored with his right foot. I don't think people will highlight that a lot, but he's a lefty. And when you are that comfortable to lob your goalkeeper, Pickford, with your right foot that quickly, I think that says a lot about your talent.
I tell you, his face and the way he goes about it would make you think that butter wouldn't melt, wouldn't it? I mean, he just looks like a wee kid.
Do you think so?
Aye. But, no, that's what he looks like.
Right.
But he's not. You see the way he handled that penalty? That is maturity, by the way. All this nonsense is going on. Number one, there's no facial expression at all. He's actually he's helping shove them away. But you know, he's doing all of this, but he's also thinking about his penalty. And then he converts the penalty. As if that hadn't happened. Tell you what, he's incredible for his age, mature.
There is a simple excellence quality to his game. A lot of the young players, and I think Mario just alluded to it, you think that you got to do 1,000 step overs.
Right.
Or you got to do the fancy trick, or you got to do this and that and the flick on. And he does, more often than not, he does what the game calls for. So the Meg today, the nutmeg to create space for himself, was the way to get past the defender. There was a purpose to it. It wasn't just for the sake of it. And the back heel to connect the pass to Jackson was what was available to him. And then the finish doesn't have to be hit with as hard as he possibly can. No, a simple, excellent finish. Opens up his body and finds the far post in the manner in which he did. And his game is a lot like that. It isn't just about running with the ball and doing this trick and doing this fancy thing and that fancy pass. Doing what the game calls for and doing it well, executing it well under pressure. When there is a whole lot of people moving at a different speed, he's seeing a different picture and executing that different picture much better than everybody else.
He's joint top goal scorer with Erling Haaland.
Is it just me? But you know how we talk. You know, we always talk about, you know, when certain players get the ball, you sit on the edge of your chair. This guy makes you relax. He does the opposite to me. Yeah. Whenever he gets it, I relax because I know that he ain't losing it. Maybe he's going to score. He's maybe going to nutmeg somebody, but you know he's going to do something good, and you know it's going to work. And so he relaxes you.
I do
when
like
you're
your relaxed
watching
postures.
This is me relaxed posture.
You look very relaxed.
But he does, you know. Some people make you do that. This guy makes you just go, he's got this in hand. You don't need to worry.
And who would have thought, Mario, given everything that's happened this season, is that Chelsea could have the top goal scorer in the Premier League come the end of the season?
Yeah, no, that's very, it's 20 goals, Haaland 20 goals too. So for him to be up there, you understand, Haaland is not a name that we call about, you understand, that's easy, but we saw what he's been doing, for this is the second season. So for Cole to be up there, he's a forward, not a striker. Haaland is a striker. So for him to be up there, I always say that when your forward is capable of getting among those ones, Watkins, you saw it already, and he's been also, you understand, doing his job. So for him to be there, that says a lot from a kid that came from City, that wanted to get in the team. And if we look at the team now at City, Foden is probably identical to his position and the way they play. So if you ask yourself, is this a right choice that he left? The only thing you could say is yes, because then now he's at Chelsea where he can develop himself. Regardless if City is doing, playing better and they performing better. But if not, the battle was going to be between him and Foden. And now both are playing, and now we're seeing both of them their good qualities.
English guy, would you play him in the Euros?
I don't know. I don't think I'm playing him ahead of Foden. I'm not playing him ahead of Bellingham. I'm not playing him ahead of Saka.
So you're not playing him?
No.
I'm the same.
There we go. Anti-Chelsea. ESPN
Yes.
FC continues.
Dan Thomas.
Looking at the bottom of the table, meanwhile, for Everton, this was not a good result because not only, obviously, you don't get any points, the goal difference suffers as well, and they are now on minus 16 along with Nottingham Forest. They are just 2 points above Luton Town. They do have a game in hand, though, on those around them. But, God, Everton. Imagine supporting Everton.
Do you know, when Branthwaite was going off at the end, I was thinking of last season, because I always thought if they could get Calvert-Lewin fit at the end of the season, this time last year,
right,
they would stay up. And they did. Mm-hmm. And as he was trotting off, I was thinking to myself, wow, if this guy's out for the rest of the season, they're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Big trouble.
They are in big trouble.
Big trouble. I mean,
but are there worse teams around them? I suppose that's the question, isn't it? When you were talking about if they're going to go down.
Yeah, and I mean, because of the manager, you know that the next time they step on the field, that at least they're going to be in I don't know who the opposition is, but they're going to be in their face at the very least. Now, whether they're good enough to beat anybody, I don't know. Obviously, last week I was talking about I was scared that Liverpool had to go to Everton. Obviously, watching this, you're like, should have been that scared. But again, Everton can't be this bad again, surely.
The last thing, though, that you need is one of your more experienced players and one of, I suppose, important players in Pickford making mistakes like he did today. That's the last thing you need, because you're counting. You may struggle with some of the less experienced guys, less talented guys, but you're counting on your big names to carry you through the latter part of the season in order to survive. He can't be making this sort of mistakes and expect Everton to stay up.